Hey there guys, this is Sam
And Justin
at The Survival Review, and today we're going to be talking about the Universal horror classic, The Invisible Man.
Yes. We've always wanted to talk about the Universal monster movies.
Yeah.
And we've never gotten around to it.
It's just one of those things that we never really did.
Yeah,
you know?
and I love these movies, personally. Yeah. These are what introduced me to horror.
Yeah. I kind of got around to watching the Universal horror movies a bit later on. Mm-hmm. Even still, I can still get a lot of enjoyment out of them because they're the definition of classic.
Yeah.
It's seriously, they still hold up, and they're a lot of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And so we are going to talk about our two favorite Universal horror movies. Mine being The Invisible Man. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love the concept of the movie, and I think it's done really well, but it's not necessarily, the strongest of the Universal horror movies.
No, but it's still a great movie.
It really is, and that's why it is my favorite.
Yeah.
So the movie follows the character of Jeffrey Griffin, Dr. Jeffrey Griffin, who's a scientist who's accidentally made himself invisible through his experiments. And he goes to this inn and is just trying to be away from all the people that he knows, just like get away from everything so he can work on figuring a way back to becoming visible. Mm-hmm.
In the process, he's just slowly going insane.
Yeah.
What was that screaming?
Had to take some exercise to keep warm. I killed a stupid little policeman. Smashed his head in.
He starts out pretty sane, just obviously very stressed out because of the situation.
Yeah.
And then just slowly goes crazier and crazier as the movie progresses.
Yeah. The actor Claude Rains does an incredible job. I mean, he really is just a scary dude.
Yeah, for a character you never see their face, he has such a strong presence to him, and his voice is great.
He's really, really great.
Power, I said. Power to walk into the gold vaults of the nations, into the secrets of kings, into the Holy of Holies. Power to make multitudes run squealing in terror at the touch of my little invisible finger.
And they needed that for a role like this because obviously you're never going to see him. Mm-hmm. And so throughout the movie, people get very suspicious of him. He's wearing these bandages over his head, and like he's generally just a suspicious dude.
Yeah.
I told you not to disturb me.
So the people who run the inn and the townsfolk and everyone are very suspicious of him, especially the innkeeper, who is this really just over the top, like really, really an overactor.
Yeah.
But like I still like her just because it's fun, but she is an annoying character.
Yeah, she gets annoying, but it's kind of fun to watch her annoyingness. If that makes any sense. It's weird.
Yeah. I still enjoy the character.
She loves to scream.
A lot.
Yeah.
Please don't.
It doesn't grate on my nerves too bad.
And plus her character kind of disappears after the first half anyway.
Exactly. So that's not really a big gripe with the movie for me. But I have heard some people complain about that.
Yeah. And she has appeared in some of the other monster movies, basically just playing the same parts.
Yeah.
So I guess this was pretty funny back then. It just isn't very funny nowadays.
Yeah. But still, not bad.
No. The best thing about this movie is the special effects.
Yes.
Which are still amazing, even to this day.
To this day, when I was watching this movie for the first time, I was pretty young. I was astounded that in 33, they were able to do this stuff that they did.
It's so ambitious.
Really, really,
They
really
could have just played it safe and whenever he was invisible, just have the items just moving on strings, which they do in some scenes. But that could have just been the whole movie.
Yeah.
But no, they decided to have scenes where he's completely invisible aside from his shirt he's wearing.
Yeah.
And it looks convincing.
It really does.
It looks like he's really invisible. Some of those shots, it's like, how did they do that? It's crazy.
Like when he's walking through the snow and you see footprints appear out of nowhere. And it's one of those things where I wonder, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then he falls into the snow.
Yeah.
And he makes an imprint in the snow. And it's like, what? How'd they do that?
Exactly. Yeah, the special effects are one of the reasons that this movie always stuck with me. Because it was just, I've always loved the concept of an invisible person, and this movie is one of the ones that does it the best.
Effects-wise, it's probably the best of the Universal movies. It has the most solid effects that just work brilliantly.
Because it does the most, it takes the most risks with its effects. You know,
yeah.
with the other movies, it's mostly just makeup
Makeup,
effects, and they look good. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
They're very good. It's just like this goes that extra mile
Yeah.
with it. Because you can't really do makeup for the Invisible Man.
No.
It's the complete opposite.
Yeah. And
And-
then the movie is actually pretty funny.
It is.
It has a good amount of humor in it.
Good morning, grandfather. How do you do?
Like we mentioned, the woman
Yeah.
was kind of a comedic relief character, but
Yeah,
she's
that's what doesn't hold up, but a
the
lot
rest
of
of it really does.
Yeah, it does.
Here we go gathering nuts in May, nuts in May, nuts in May. Here we go gathering nuts in May on a cold and frosty morning. Whoops!
It has more of a sense of fun than some of the other movies.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, not counting the later era of Universal movies where they got really cheesy and they kind of running out of ideas. This is still in that early time period where they were still kind of this like morbidly dark movies,
Yep.
and it has a good sense of humor to it that makes it stand out from the other films.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot less dark than, say, Frankenstein.
Yeah, or Dracula.
Yeah.
But that's not a disadvantage of the
No,
movie.
not at all. It actually plays to the movie really well.
And some of the little flaws with the movie, there aren't many, but some of the little flaws is some of the acting from some of the supporting characters.
Yeah.
The cop, the main cop, whose initial reaction to seeing an invisible man is just, yep, he's invisible, alright.
He's invisible. That's what's the matter with him.
Yeah.
That's it.
it's
It's the stranger with the goggles. He's gone mad. He's assaulted Mrs. Hall and nearly killed her husband.
it's not necessarily always believable, and that is
No.
one of the
Or there's one cop extra in the movie that's so bad.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
like, maybe he's asleep. He has to sleep.
He's got to sleep. They might catch him asleep.
And it's
Yeah.
like, was that intentionally bad, or was that just a bad actor?
I think he was just a bad actor.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I think so too.
But overall, like especially with the main characters, the acting is good. It's just
Yeah.
the supporting roles,
Yeah.
they
It's
didn't-
very different than the other movies because it's not a misunderstood monster. It's an actual person who's just slowly descending into madness.
Yeah.
Which
And
makes
it's-
it stand out. from the
It
other
really
films.
does stand out. And like I said, Claude Rains does
Mm-hmm.
just an amazing job of playing that person who's just losing his mind.
Yeah.
And it's just a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, it really is. So, out of 10,
Out of 10, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm going to go 9 as well.
9 as
out of
well.
10, yeah.
It does have its little flaws,
Mm-hmm.
especially like the major thing is just, the supporting characters can have, some sketchy acting.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to get past because it's such a fun movie. I really, really love this movie. And for me, it is my favorite.
Yes.
I'm willing to admit that objectively it's not the strongest of
Mm-hmm.
the Universal monster movies.
Yeah.
But it's the one that I get the most
Yeah.
enjoyment
It's-
out of watching.
It's really underappreciated too, because it's not as well known as say like Frankenstein or the Mummy. It's
Yeah.
the Invisible Man, which isn't as iconic as the other monsters, but definitely still worth checking out.
Definitely. I highly, highly, highly recommend
Me
this
too.
movie.
Me too.
It's a very easy one to get into, especially if you've never watched a Universal
Mm-hmm.
monster movie. This is a good one to start with, I'd say.
Yeah, it's well paced and has a good amount of humor to keep you going throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. So that's about all we've got to say about The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And next time we're going to be talking about Justin's favorite Universal monster movie.
Frankenstein.
So until then, thank you guys very much for watching.
We'll talk to you later.